Firstly, Gaffer, obviously you've had players away on international duty. Obviously, a number of them made their first appearances for their countries. How pleased was it as a manager to see those performing well on the international stage?
Yeah, it's terrific for players to be going through a training regime, going through a development regime at the club, and seeing their careers evolve as a consequence. If your players are getting that kind of recognition and those kind of rewards for the work that they're doing, it makes them more enthusiastic to do the work. So it's pleasing that others hopefully will be encouraged to follow in the same footsteps and the same pathway because they know that it works.
And they've all come back in decent shape?
Yeah, they're all fitting on the training ground and at different stages in terms of their recovery from the work they've done and the travel they've done. But no, they're all out there on the training ground this morning, so that's positive.
Is one of the targets for between now and the end of the season is to finish as the league's highest scorers? Because obviously yourselves and Gillingham are sort of neck and neck at the top, but that's the ethos that you want in attacking football. Can you end the season with a badge of honour?
Well, we have to. The chairman's in no doubt at all about the need for that to happen. The football club, I think, is disappointed by where it's at. Nobody here wants to be languishing in mid-table. It's not the objective of what we're all here to do. So we know that we need to make a massive step forward. I think we're all confident that we can and will. There's a bit of work to be done squad-wise. We've talked about that before. We need to make sure that we've got the depth to deal with the type of injury crisis that we suffered. And, some of that we've addressed by bringing in young players and blood in them. And as they become more familiar with League One football and more adapted to it, they'll be able to make the right contribution rather than that sort of nervous contribution that you make when you play your first league football. So, we're on our way forward as a club. We are where we are. It's unrealistic to expect that even 8 wins would push us into the playoff slots, but you never know. And one game at a time, we're just looking to win our games. We want the fans who have paid for their season tickets to get value for money between now and the end of the season. We want them to come and watch the side playing in an entertaining and attractive and attacking manner. We want to play with thrust and purpose. We don't want them thinking that they're watching a team that's seeing the season out. We want them coming along and being enthusiastic about what they're seeing and spending the summer looking forward to seeing the players play again. That's very much our aim. We want to reward them for the terrific support they've given us.
Is it pleasing in some respect that obviously Connor Washington was still the leading goal scorer at the club, but you've really shared the goals around this year, and I guess if you're going to have a successful campaign, you need goals from all areas of the pitch.
Yeah, I can look back at my own managerial career and I can look at the teams that have gone up under my management, and they are teams that have got a spread of goals. There's been no main goal scorer in any of those teams. They've all had players who've got their 10s, 11s, 12s. Winning teams do that. You don't know how to stop them because goals come from everywhere, and I think that's a feature of how I would like the game played. It's a feature of how we play the game here. We encourage everybody to get in the box, full-backs, midfield players, front boys, but obviously at the same time you want your front boys chipping in and doing their share of the work. So plenty of spread and some front boys who are doing their job as well.
Yeah. Without looking too far ahead, you want to end the season on a high to give you momentum going into a new campaign, irrelevant of what league that may be in. You want to end the season well because it can really spur you on for the following campaign.
Well, I think we've got players here who can do something serious next season. But of course, what goes on between now and the end of the season will prove me right or wrong. Because even when we do take knocks in the coming 8 games, which we will, players are going to come in who now are blooded. The excuses are gone. It's not a question of saying, he was making his debut or he was playing his first League One minutes and he didn't understand what we expect him to do from a defensive corner. He's only been here for 7 hours. All of that's out the window. Players are now familiar with us. They know what's expected. They've got those nervous moments out the way, and we're expecting to see people deliver the goods. It's not a patient club. Everybody knows that. It's a good kind of impatience, as in we expect the best from our people. We know they're good people. We expect the best from them. We expect them to deliver. So it's fun. It's a fun period of time, really. We one game at a time. I don't see any reason why we can't win the games that are in front of us. It'll be a test at the weekend, a test of character. If our character's right, we'll win the game. But our character will need to be right because, as has been pointed out by other media commentators this morning, every team that's down the bottom of a league at this time of year steels itself, develops its resolve, and tries its very hardest to produce the unexpected. So we saw Colchester go to Coventry the other night and produce an unexpected result. Does it surprise me that that's happened? No, it can happen. We've got to make sure it doesn't happen to us. And the way to make sure it doesn't happen to you isn't to fear it, is to make sure you go and explode into your games and tear these sides to pieces. They're down the bottom and used to losing. They've lost a lot of games, and it's up to us to make sure we capitalise on that and expose the failings that have led to those results. Not allow any sense of renewed togetherness or renewed spirit in their camp to affect us. We're on a high, won a couple of games, we're ready to finish the season strong, and we're ready to tear at what's in front of us.
Yeah, no decision yet on Simon Gillett, who's obviously playing, or could play his last game this weekend. Obviously, Stewart Moore has gone back to Reading, and we thank him for his contribution in the last 4 weeks or so.
Yeah, Stu came in at a difficult moment. Ben went down. We didn't want to throw Dion to the wolves, so as to speak. Stuart came in and did a solid job in many regards. He's a good young goalkeeper with great potential. To be fair, he and Reading said to me, he's probably not been put under the pressure distribution-wise that you'll put him under. He's played Conference South football, and they won't have been expecting him to play out from the back and be another passer in your back line like you expect. So you have to bear with him in that regard, and we did bear with him in that regard. And at times we lost our game because of that, but that's not any disrespect to him. He was a good young goalkeeper while I was here, and he progressed. I think he progressed well. So great to have had him at the football club, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to bring him back.
Looking at the impact the substitutes made, have they given you something to think about ahead of this weekend in terms of their performance when they came on last week?
Yeah, I think, we know that Shaq has put in some good display since he's been here. We all remember fondly the terrific goal he got away at West Brom. He's done not enough in front of goal. He knows that. But it takes players different amounts of time to settle down at their new club. And he's certainly one who's taken a little bit of time just to find his feet. But he's looking strong now. I think last weekend was probably as good as it's been from him in terms of his effect on a game. And Lee, similarly, came on and made a difference. He looked hungry to prove himself again. It can be difficult when a player comes from non-league football. They come in, they get their first chance. He had a terrific start, 7 in 11 or something like that, wasn't it, goals-wise? And then he's had a little bit of a lull. It can happen. Players come in with that real desire to prove themselves. They kind of prove themselves to some degree, get themselves established, the plaudits start coming their way, and sometimes they can relax. He's now started to go again. Last weekend, I thought he produced the goods. He got a goal to go with it, which will probably teach him a lesson. If you produce the goods, you tend to get your goals. And with that appetite back in him, sure, anyone would want Lee and goal in their team.